Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Keep It Real. I want to introduce you to a word that you probably haven't heard of before. It's called autophagy, A-U-T-O-P-H-A-G-Y. Autophagy is a process that happens in the body when it gets rid of kind of old and damaged cells and debris and waste and things. And we're exposed to so much stuff all the time. We've talked about this in past episodes, that your body needs some opportunity and some ways to kind of cleanse and kind of catch up on some of that repair and regeneration. And so there's ways that we can leverage this concept and this physiological process of autophagy. And one way to do it is fasting. I just came off of a 60-hour fast, so I just wanted to kind of introduce that term and explain a little bit about how you can put yourself into that state. So I did a 60-hour fast, and I'm not really promoting any particular kind of fast, and there's lots of different ways to do it. So, research that and see what might be, what might work best for you. But I did a non-macronutrient fast. I didn't have any carbohydrate, fats, or protein. So it's just all liquid. I was drinking a particular thing, but basically, without having any macronutrients, it forces the body to work in a certain way. And the way that it works is it helps to upregulate this process in the body called autophagy. And it really helps to allow all these signaling systems and these mechanisms to kind of kick into gear and really go after some of these damaged and abnormal cells. Things are kind of growing abnormally, and we're exposed to so many different toxins and things. We've talked about that in past episodes, that every now and again we have to give the body an opportunity to kind of cleanse and keep up with that. This process has been going on in sort of human sort of medicine and human healthcare for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's always been well known that there's kind of a regenerative process when you go through kind of a fasting state. But there's some other cool things that happen. When you go into a fasted state, it causes your body to go through lipolysis, which is mobilizing fat that's just in storage. And the body does this because it first goes through a certain level of glucose called glycogen stored up, and we only have maybe about 12 hours worth, kind of depending on what you're doing. If you're exercising really, really hard, probably less than 12 hours. But if you're just kind of going through the night, like what I did, it was 60 hours. So I stopped eating Sunday night. Let's call it done eating by 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. is 12 hours. And then the following 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, of not consuming any macronutrients. So there's your 60 hours. And after just about 12 hours, those glycogen stores are used up, so the body starts mobilizing your fat cells, and the fat cells get oxidized in the liver. And one of the awesome benefits of that is ketone production. So the ketones start floating around in your system, and the ketones, there's lots of awesome literature on this, but the ketones go all over the body, and they are great sort of building blocks for a very clean burning fuel. So it's a great kind of source of energy, not energy like caffeine energy to like function at your kind of optimal level. But I think most importantly, or something that I'm really interested in, is the effect that it has on the brain and the neurons. So the neurons really love using ketones as a building block for fuel, for energy. And there's an interesting thing that happens when you're in a fasted state without any macronutrients for a period of time. Your BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that's kind of the switch that turns on that helps with new nerve growth. Nerve, just like other cells in the body, can get kind of deteriorated and kind of damaged, even if, or especially if somebody has had like head trauma. The neurons get damaged, and by increasing ketones for a period of time, it can really help to regenerate new cells because the BDNF goes up. So that's a pretty awesome thing. But when you have better neurons functioning, those neurons do their job better, which, amongst many things, is producing neurotransmitters. You've heard of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, but there's also gamma aminobutyric acid. And what studies show is that as ketones go up and neurons are happier, then your GABA and glutamate ratio improves. And what that net effect is a calmer, more focused brain. When you balance your GABA to glutamate ratio, you have kind of an antidepressive effect, you have an anti-anxiety effect, and there's lots of great literature, some of the literature very, very recent, that kind of explains this effect. And so when that happens, that's going to affect your mood and behavior and your cognition and your ability to focus and do all the cool things that you're trying to do. So it has also kind of a top-down effect. You know, there's this whole system called the central governor theory, and that central governor theory or concept in the body is if the brain is working good, then the rest of the body works better, and including things like energy. When somebody says, oh, I'm kind of tired, it's really their brain, more likely than not, that is telling their body that it's tired. So the reverse happens. If the brain has better flow of energy, the body is going to feel more energetic, and you're going to feel like you're able to do more. So also some cool things that happen in this kind of state of autophagy and fasting is you get improved kind of gastrointestinal system, your liver kind of get to catch up on all the things that they do constantly all the time. So I just wanted to introduce that word autophagy and explain a way that we can kind of leverage that process in the body by doing a fast, like a 60-hour fast. You probably want to learn about that from a provider that really knows what they're doing. So you may not be right for everybody, but that's one that I did, and so you can leverage that process in the body to really help to decrease the chance of getting sick and different damaged cells kind of piling up in the body. So we have to check in with the body every now and again and do something good for it and allow that cleansing process to happen. So hopefully that was informative, and we'll talk to you next time. Until then, keep it real.